Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have a bit of a sad story for you. One of my Dior bags is defective, and it is this gorgeous Toit de Jouy book tote. I got this a couple years ago from the Miami boutique. I absolutely love the Toit de Jouy print. I have the matching mitza here wrapped around the handle. I don't really use this a lot because it's so pretty, and also because I don't think the book tote is the most functional bag. I posted my entire luxury handbag collection and I go into more details about how much I just adore this design, but I just don't use it a lot. And so it really just sat untouched for the most part on my shelf. This was part of the summer 2020 collection, like right at the start of COVID. I wasn't going out much because we weren't going anywhere, like no one was going anywhere. And so this sat pretty much untouched. And when I did my recent luxury handbag collection video, I finally went through the bag. I was going through all my bags and just, looking at them over again. And I noticed something inside. So inside, similar to pretty much all my luxury handbags, I have this Samorga book tote organizer. I have a Samorga organizer in pretty much all my bags, especially the larger tote bags, because it just keeps everything a lot more organized. It protects the bag. It, in some cases, will keep the structure of the bag if it's like a unstructured bag. The book tote is very structured, but for this, I really wanted to keep it organized. And also I wanted a zip cover to protect what's inside. So I have always kept this very light color. I've always had this in here as soon as I got the bag. So I never look at the bag itself until I posted my video. And to my horror, I saw something that was so awful and surprising for a bag that is pretty much untouched. So yeah, it was like the summer of 2020, so not even 2 years. And this is what I found inside. Now it's hard to see, kind of. It's a bright day, but can you see along all the seams right there is a ugly yellow stain. And it looks like a stain, but right away, because the line is so straight and it's so even and it's completely evenly distributed. It's the same measurements along the seams. It is very obviously the glue that they use to keep these materials together. They use some kind of a glue adhesive before then they stitch the sides along here. I'll include pictures. I did post pictures on my Instagram, and by the way, follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of things in my Instagram stories, including polls. And also if there's ever like a designer deal or sale, Dior does go on sale and I post it in my Instagram story. So follow me on there, it's @aheated_mess. But I posted this on there and I was like, what does this look like to you guys? And instantly everyone was like, oh my gosh, that's oxidized glue. That's glue from the book tote, that's a defect. That's a clear defect of the bag. It is not a stain that I myself inflicted upon this bag. So that's all along the bottom. And then on the sides here at the top, you can see that it's also along there. It's hard again to see in the camera, but I'll include pictures of it close up, but it's like a pea yellow color and it's so bright against this light beige color bag. No, it's it's navy, but the white background. This is definitely the worst part right here. All along here, it's like at least ½ an inch of oxidized glue along here that has turned yellow, all along the bag, all along the seams. On the front here is the worst part. So immediately I was like, okay, that is not right. This shouldn't happen to a barely 1.5-year-old bag that has barely been used. Up until I moved recently, I had kept this in my dust bag in the closet on the shelf. I literally wore this maybe a handful of times in the summer, and then it was always, wrapped. The handles, I had the Samorga organizer in here. I definitely did not spill anything in here. I don't carry any liquids except for a water bottle that is contained. But again, even if I do have a water bottle, it's inside this Samorga organizer in the exact water bottle holder that I specifically got this for, was to hold water bottles. It is very obviously not a stain. It is a very obvious manufacturing defect of glue or an adhesive that has oxidized. And so I brought this in because I was like, okay, this shouldn't happen. Let's take a look and see. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know that I used to work for LV and I had to deal with a lot of repairs. And one repair story in particular, I did a whole video about it, where a boyfriend and girlfriend came in and the girlfriend pulled out her bag. It was a tote bag, and her boyfriend had thrown up inside the bag. and they asked if it could be repaired, replaced, whatever. Obviously that was something that, you know, the customer's boyfriend had done. That was not a defect. That's not something that LV would take responsibility for and say, okay, that was a manufacturing defect. A defect that LV would take care of is, for example, the Pochette Matisse, the original release, the canvas was cracking and it was happening to all the bags at the same exact spot. So they took care of it. You would bring it in and they would replace, exchange it, or give you credit for a different bag. The On The Go GM is another bag that the original release had canvas shoulder straps. They changed it to black leather because they didn't want the canvas shoulder straps to start breaking. So that's an example of a defect. This oxidized glue, similarly, is an obvious defect. This is something that I didn't do. It's not through any fault of my own. It's something that is uniform across all the seams and should not have happened to a bag that has not been improperly used. And so when I posted it on my Instagram, a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, the same thing happened to me. It's oxidized glue. They also had similar light colored canvas, you know, Dior book totes, and it was having the same oxidized glue along the seams and at the corners. Now, much to my dismay, when I brought this into Dior to show them the oxidized glue and see what could be done about it, how they could repair it or maybe exchange or replace, you know, I didn't ask for anything. I just left it open-ended and asked what they thought about it. My Dior SA is amazing. I love him. He's great. He is amazing. He is the person I bought my Dior Vibe bag from. Unfortunately, he was helping someone else. So another client advisor, sales associate, was helping me with the repair intake. Immediately, her first question to me was, well, did you use this in the summer? And I was like, huh, what a strange question. Considering this is a summer bag, it literally came out as part of the summer collection. So she asked me, the first thing she said was, did I use it in the summer? And I said, I mean, maybe I probably did occasionally, but you know, I rarely use this bag anyway. So then I pointed out, okay, well, you know, you can see that the stains are very straight, very uniform, and they go across all corners and seams along the bag. Because I didn't know if she was trying to insinuate that it was a stain or that I was using the bag improperly. Like, am I not allowed to use it in the summer? I was so confused by the question. And so I said, okay, yeah, I mean, this to me looks like it's pretty much a defect. I mean, it looks like it's oxidized glue along all the seams. And she said, well, I'm not sure. I don't know if they'll be able to do anything or fix it. She basically was kind of just very like dismissive about the whole thing. And then she pointed out that there's also a stain here, which I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of a yellowing right there. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. I mean, maybe it is a stain. Okay. But what does that have to do with this? And she said, well, it's the same color, so that's strange. I said, okay, maybe. And then the other kind of annoying thing about this, you know, repair intake or assessment was I made the mistake, and it was my fault, but ultimately it shouldn't matter. I said, oh yeah, I got this, it wasn't even a couple years ago, and I got this from the Hawaii boutique. Now, when I unboxed the Toit de Jouy book tote, I initially had two. I had this in the navy from the Miami boutique, and I also had the gray Toit de Jouy from Hawaii. And I did a whole video about that. I got it from the Hawaii boutique. Hawaii pricing at Dior is lower because they fall under the Asian market, so the pricing is different. And I got the gray one from Hawaii, but this one I got from Miami. But in the moment I was confused, I forgot. And so I said, oh yeah, I got this from the Hawaii boutique. So she immediately was like, oh, well, Hawaii's final sale. I don't think we can do anything about it because Hawaii's final sale. And in my head, I'm like, well, it's a good thing I'm not returning it because it doesn't matter if Hawaii is final sale. This is still obviously a defect in the bag, right? And she just kept saying, well, Hawaii is a different market. Hawaii bags are final sale. And I was like, okay, I mean, you still would repair a defective bag, right? It doesn't matter where it came from. It honestly felt like she was gaslighting me because I was like, I mean, this obviously isn't a stain. How would one have a uniform stain in an even straight line across every single seam and a stain going up along the side seams? So it just was such a strange interaction. And then after the fact, I did remember, oh, actually I did get this in the US. I got it from Miami. So I texted my SA afterwards and he said, it's fine, we'll take care of it. Fortunately, he was like super helpful and he messaged me and said, oh, the operations manager said you can exchange it for another book tote. And I was like, oh, awesome. So that's what I'm doing. So I wanted to film this part first to show you the stain before I bring it in, but I definitely am going to be exchanging it. So fortunately, Dior had a little bit of a hiccup in the initial repair assessment, but they are coming through and letting me exchange this bag, which is defective, for something, probably the same book tote. And so he does have the same exact book tote, but I was like, you know, I don't want the same thing to happen again. I don't want this oxidized glue. Like if that's an issue, and it seems like based on my messages from other people who had the same issue, it seems like it might happen again, no matter how well I take care of it, how infrequently I use it. It looks like it will just get oxidized again, and the glue is going to turn yellow and be really ugly. It's not that serious really, because I have this organizer, but it's just something that you want to make sure you have, you know, the best quality bag. I mean, it's a lot of money. The Dior book tote now, I think it's like, what is it, $3,500 or something? I mean, you're paying $3,000 for a bag. You don't want it to start turning yellow within a year. I mean, that's just unacceptable. So fortunately, they are allowing me to exchange it. Just because I wanted to have multiple options, I did message my SA from the boutique where I did purchase this, and she was very helpful and very responsive right away. She sent me pictures of the book totes they had in store, and she said, we don't have that issue in these book totes. And I was like, well, yeah, I didn't think that you would have oxidized glue on your brand new book totes. This looks like it might be an issue for older bags, maybe, but I still don't think it should happen within 1 to 2 years. And so she said, okay, well, we can always send it out to repair and see what they say. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait and see what my SA here at my local boutique does. And fortunately, it is a much better option because the operations manager was great and is allowing me to exchange it. So that's another tip for you. If you don't like the response you're getting, if you have a defective or what you think is a defect or a repair needed on one of your bags, you can shop around. You can shop around to different boutiques. You can also contact customer service, send pictures, and see what they do from there. But in this case, so my two options were send it out to repair for weeks or who knows how long and see what they can do. I mean, I don't even know how they would be able to repair it. I guess they would clean out the glue. But again, I just think it comes down to being a defect. So I'm glad that the resolution option for me is to just bring it into exchange. So I wanted to just show you what it looks like, but I will follow up and let you know what I ended up getting. So let me know if you've had any similar repair defect issues with any of your luxury handbags. And also, if you have the book tote, do you have this issue with this glue on every single seam after a year? And what should I do? Should I exchange this for the exact same bag? Should I get a darker bag? You know, I mentioned to my SA, well, I don't want the same thing to happen. Maybe I should get a darker color. And they do have the reverse toile de jouy, which is basically like the photo, you know, image is reversed where the animal print is light and then everything else is a dark color. But I just don't like it as much. I think this is so pretty. I love the design and all the detailing. And in the reverse imagery, I don't think the design is as intricate looking to me. It looks mostly just too dark. So I really just love this color, but I just don't want that same thing to happen. So yeah, drop it in the comments, any terrible repair experiences and what you think I should do with this bag. And I will follow up with what I ended up doing with this and whether I had a happy resolution. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my defect story, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.